Hey, what's up? My name is Christian, and today we're talking about NASA's new plan to protect Earth from asteroids and how those efforts will lay the groundwork for the future asteroid mining industry. But before we jump in, welcome back to Orbiter, where you subscribe for news and in-depth perspectives about the newest technologies and how we could advance civilization even faster. Believe it or not, asteroids could help solve a lot of problems on Earth, but if handled unfairly, they could harm humanity for generations to come. So, without further ado, let's see what the new space race is all about. Before proceeding, I feel it's important to manage our expectations and to clarify the chances of a large asteroid hitting Earth is equivalent to flipping a coin and landing heads 11 times in a row. So if you give it a try, let me know if the world ends. That hasn't stopped governments and companies from trying to decrease those chances even more though, which is why SpaceX and NASA partnered to launch the DART spacecraft at an asteroid. DART is the first ever mission dedicated to investigating and demonstrating one method of asteroid deflection by changing an asteroid's motion in space through kinetic impact. So in other words, crashing into a rock as hard as possible and hoping the trajectory changes. Of course, they're going off more than hope, but this mission represents humanity's first attempt at changing the orbit of an object in our solar system, and a potential solution for when the next asteroid is heading our way. Which is pretty crazy considering just a couple centuries ago people struggled to move boulders across their country. But now the plan is to move a rock that's 7 million miles away. The targeted asteroid is orbiting a larger asteroid and is believed to have a near zero chance of ever hitting Earth. So this mission is acting as a proof of concept. It'll take almost a year before impact. But if the refrigerator-sized DART spacecraft manages to hit the bullseye, it's expected to change the asteroid's orbit and the trajectory of humanity forever. You would think the goal of protecting Earth is the main motivation here. But the more you look into it, the more you'll see how billionaires like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson are secretly leading the charge for something else. So why? Well, currently it's to promote things like space tourism or launching satellites into orbit. But all those endeavors are the starting points for funding something much larger in scale, and ultimately for the sake of making a profit. I think the true goal of these investments are so that one day the asteroid mining industry can flourish. Because Earth only has a finite amount of resources, and we've been consuming them faster than ever. Thankfully, NASA estimates that the asteroids in our solar system could be worth at least $700 quintillion and full of rare metals that could help supply the demand back on our little blue planet. I know, it almost sounds like a fake number, but keep in mind that asteroids are the rocks that never grew up to be planets, and they're sometimes made of the same stuff, like gold, copper, iron, platinum, and even frozen water. You know, planet stuff. We live in a time where the combined advancements in reusable rockets, renewable energy, and self-replicating robots could make this possible, entering humanity into an age where all the resources in our solar system could be up for grabs. So if the DART mission is successful and alters the orbit of an object in space, that means more complex asteroid manipulation is likely to be attempted in the future. Two of the biggest challenges we face is that some asteroids may be orbiting too fast, while others may be in dangerous areas full of other asteroids. Researchers are likely going to use what we've learned from the DART mission to help develop strategies to move asteroids in a way that would make it easier to land on their surfaces. But these spacecrafts won't be full of people ready to mine, but instead, the majority of this industry will likely depend on an autonomous supply chain, powered by self-replicating mining robots that run on fuel sources found within some asteroids. Starting off, extraction of resources may occur where the asteroid is found, but will be severely limited in how much can physically be brought back to Earth. After all, the further away we are from Earth, the more expensive and challenging it is to build infrastructure for processing those resources, or at least in the beginning. After we manage to slow them down, one potential solution would be to land on the asteroids and use rockets to gradually push them closer to Earth's moon, so that we can mine and refine the metals there. The moon is a strategic necessity for asteroid mining because it's close to Earth, large enough to set up heavy-duty infrastructure, has energy sources ready to use, and best of all, there is no environment to destroy with pollution. Thankfully, this next era of colonization is targeting the lonely rocks around planets or within our asteroid belt. But it doesn't mean the actions taken in space won't affect people on Earth. If history is allowed to repeat itself, the most wealthy countries and companies will get a head start in creating the infrastructure to transport resources back to Earth, and possibly claim the most valuable land before most countries even have a space program. This could create a wealthy multi-planetary civilization, or increase the inequalities within humanity. After all, if just one country or company is responsible for bringing back trillions of dollars worth of rare metals, that could have unintended consequences. For instance, if more gold was brought back to Earth, it could become abundant, which might lower its value. While if an asteroid full of iron was mined, it might change the landscapes of cities by making it cheaper to build skyscrapers full of iron beams. At the end of the day, it's just speculation, but it's warranted because there is immense value embedded into moons, comets, and asteroids within our solar system. On a governmental level, a 1979 treaty referred to as the Moon Agreement was signed by a number of countries in the United Nations. It was intended to help formalize what the future space economy could look like. But it also laid out terms for how the future exploitation of natural resources on the moon and other celestial bodies should be done. For various reasons, all the major spacefaring countries still haven't signed that treaty, meaning there isn't international agreement on how ownership and expansion is decided. Global cooperation is going to be key, especially if we want to share in the benefits and the moon we grew up with. Several countries have already claimed that they'll be building research stations on the moon within my lifetime, and as they grow, there are no borders dividing them and few rules about what can be done. Without agreement, disputes could occur over resource-rich areas or what can actually be built on the surface. If we aren't careful, one day when we look up at the moon, all we'll see is a sphere saturated in artificial light, smog, and a ring full of space trash. Going forward, the desire to mine asteroids or the moon will only increase with time. But if this turns out like the gold rush in America, then only the people selling the pickaxes will actually benefit. In the case of asteroid mining, that would be the billionaires and wealthy countries that have constructed the technology and infrastructure to get there. Considering this could lead to massive wealth accumulation and severely impact economies, we can only hope that world leaders will get their act together before the first asteroid is mined. At the end of the day, we're extracting resources too quickly from Earth, and there are a lot of things we can do to get better at that first. But it's still nice to know that a plan B exists for when we do start to run out. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. But with that, keep orbiting, and I'll see you in the next one.